morning from a beautiful, bright, clear Sunday morning. I've been struggling for the last few days trying to figure out where the heck I was going to go hiking today. And right down to the last minute, I couldn't decide. At 12:30 last night, I decided I want to go someplace I hadn't been in a while. So I'm going to head over the river to New Jersey and check out the Goat Hill trails. There's a north loop and a south loop, and we're gonna go over and see what sunrise looks like in New Jersey. So this is the Goat Hill Park trail area. Honestly, it doesn't look like a whole lot right now, especially with all the leaves off the trees. I bet it's gorgeous when it's lush in the summer. I'm interested in this because it has several overlooks onto the Delaware River. These were actually not just environmental, outdoorsy kinds of overlooks. They were actually used during the Revolutionary War by both sides. Washington and Cornwallis both used these as ways of keeping track of troop movements of the other side during the Revolutionary War. So I'm really interested to get out and see that, see a little bit of history, get some fresh air, and see what this trail has to offer. So I've got my boots on, let's get the pack on and hit the trail. Well, this trail pays off quickly. I hadn't been out 10 minutes, maybe a quarter mile when I hit that first overlook, and we're just under 3/4 of a mile when we hit this one. This is just lovely. I always forget that there are high places in Pennsylvania. I guess it's from growing up in Michigan, which was so flat. And the town I live in has one big-ish hill, but it's not anything overwhelming. And to be up this high and looking so far along the river is really amazing. You can see across the river there. This is called the Old Mill Overlook, and you can see why. You can see how the water is diverted to power the mill wheels and the old warehouse buildings. That, of course, this is New Hope and Bucks County, so it's all been converted into very expensive condominiums. But it's, even so, there's still so much nature all around it that it almost doesn't feel offensive. But there's also a dog that's running around over here, and she keeps running down these paths that I don't know where they go, and I don't think they're places that I want to go because they're going way down this cliff. There are a lot of side trails all over this place. I actually had a lady warn me as I was getting out of the car that there are certain routes not to take because she gets lost on them every time she comes here. So I'm checking my all trails a lot, and I did get off route once already. But we've got a ways to go yet, so I'm going to enjoy this view for a couple more minutes, and then we'll get moving. I've been walking along thinking how surprising it is how clear this trail is. I mean, we're looking at the same kind of beeches and maple trees that we've seen on some of the other trails we've done in the last couple of weeks, but this trail is like perfectly clear. And I couldn't figure out, are all these trees dead that they're not dropping leaves, or what's going on? And then I noticed the marks on the trail back there. Someone's going through here and raking this path clear, which is crazy. I'm grateful for it because I've been on some of the side trails, and that lady was right. It's really easy to get lost. The GPS signal is not reliable up here, and I was counting on my GPS, and it showed me all over the place and nowhere near where I thought I was supposed to be. So at least having this path clear, I know this is an actual path. I think the white blazes, our favorite white blazes, are the guide for this. Is called the Quarry Trail. And you can see why, all the rocks through here. But so I'm gonna keep following this very well groomed trail and see where it takes me next. made it up to the top of Goat Hill expecting there to be a view, but it's all socked in with trees. And even though the leaves are all off of them, it's still, you can't see very much. But these trees are magnificent. Again, these must be old trees. I would imagine with all the rocks on the hills here, it was probably hard to get up here to do logging, so they may have been spared, but they're just enormous trees. I ran into a local who's lived in the area for 30 years, and he said this is a relatively new park. It only opened, he couldn't remember if it was 10 or 15 years ago. Before that, it had been a Boy Scout camp, so off limits. And he is very excited that A, they've put in all these well-maintained trails, but B, that they keep adding to them. He pointed me out, reinforcing what I was planning to do, a side trail that's fairly new. It's a half-mile hook around the side of the mountain or the hill, and then headed back to the parking lot. So I'm going to have to pay a lot more attention to this one because it doesn't look like it's marked. It certainly isn't raked and groomed. So, but that's okay. That'll keep me on my toes. So I'm going to finish having my butt break and get back on the trail. And we made it back to the car. This park got very busy in the 2 hours I was out on trail, but I can see why. It's a great trail. I would highly recommend this to anybody in the area who's looking to put in just a couple of miles. I did 3. All Trails is saying I did 3.7, but it also had me teleporting across the Delaware River and back. So we're going to take that with a grain of salt. The trails are marked and yet not marked. that last section that I did that I expected not to be marked actually was another one of those raked trails and was very well marked. So it was pretty easy to find my way back. Very active hunting season. The gentleman I ran into warned me about that. And as you saw, there were a couple of tree stands. So a lot of bow hunting, especially in this area. The overlooks were gorgeous. I would love to come back here and try this again. I wonder if they shovel the paths in the winter. I don't know. Who ever heard of raking paths? So come out and check it out, or let me know where you went hiking this weekend. I'm not sure if there will be a video next weekend. If there is, it will be from PAX Unplugged, the premier board game convention in the United States, which is happening every year down in Philadelphia. And it's back in person this year, and I can't wait to go and try out some of these board games. So maybe I'll share that with you. If not, I'll see you the week after. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.